Considering that calisthenics is probably one of the most versatile forms of training ever, since there is a myriad of exercises you can do, it is also one of the training methods that leaves you open to the most amount of mistakes. And if I had worked on these things much earlier, not only would I have progressed probably twice as fast as I did in the last 15 years, I would have also had way less plateaus, way less injuries, and overall a far more qualitative experience than I had. So today we're gonna check out some of these mistakes so you can have a far higher quality experience with calisthenics than I did. With the pull-up being one of the most sought after exercises in calisthenics in general, I see this mistake repeated in pretty much every single person I know that practices pull-ups. A lack of proper scapular control and strength. We have 4 major scapular positions we need to work on and perfect so we can advance much faster and with way less injuries. We've got scapular adduction, pulling our shoulder blades together, scapular abduction, pulling them apart all the way. We have scapular elevation, pulling our shoulder blades up, and scapular depression, pulling them down as far as we can. Being able to control your scapular positioning with more and more resistance is going to be crucial in advancing your calisthenics goals, not only when it comes to advancing to more demanding pull-up variations, but also when going for more advanced calisthenics exercises. A lack of scapular control and strength will leave you open to injury, bad form when going through advanced exercises, and may even keep you from learning the most basic of things, such as a classic overhand latissimus dominant pull-up. To work on these, it is not enough to go through the motions without any resistance, but you need to master it with both your entire body weight hanging from a bar with symmetrical as well as asymmetrical scapular pull-ups, as well as your entire body weight resting on your shoulders for maximum strength around your scapula, your shoulders, and your traps. And the combination of these will help you advance when it comes to pull-ups, levers, planches, handstands, and pretty much everything that makes up the base of your calisthenics foundation. Now, while we are on the topic of pull-ups, my second biggest regret is not branching out early enough to more advanced variations. See, I was already able to do about 30 latissimus dominant or classic overhand pull-ups before I even thought about adding more variations and more complex movement patterns in my pulling workouts. If you want to truly become a master of upper body pulling techniques, it is not enough to only work on underhand chin-ups or biceps dominant pulling, or the overhand classic movement, but you need to add different patterns that will help you strengthen your mind-muscle connection and work on the musculature surrounding your lats and your arms that don't get hit as much with the classical movements, and that will help you branch out in other exercises as well. So here are the variations you definitely need to work on. Starting with the archer pull-up, or a lateral extended pulling movement, which is going to put a lot more pressure on one side and help you work asymmetrical movement patterns, which are far more natural to humans in general. We don't usually work in symmetrical patterns, but we do unilateral movements more often than we don't. Then we have the typewriter pull-up, a lateral movement at the very top, which is going to strengthen your shoulders and your scapula even more, helping you build massive strength and massive safety around your rotator cuff, which in turn is going to help you avoid injuries in the long run. And last but not least, we have the complete circular pull-up, which is far more strength dominant than any of the other variations and will combine everything we've worked on: scapular positioning, strength, coordination, the stronger mind-muscle connection, and a total control over your entire upper body all the way down to your hips. Now, if you want a more detailed breakdown on how to not only achieve your very first pull-up, but also how to advance to these more demanding variations, you can check out this video where we go through it step by step in full detail. Leading us to the mistake that probably hurt me the most, both figuratively as well as literally, that is not working on my mobility far earlier than I started to. Before I got into stretching and yoga and started to teach yoga, my mobility is practically what I neglected the most and what came back to bite me in the ass the most often. When it comes to calisthenics, most people instantly think push-ups and pull-ups, but most people do not think about working on their mobility and flexibility. When in fact, calisthenics is basically just about body weight exercises, and mobility is generally a body weight exercise dominant thing. That is, of course, if you're not working on passive, static stretching techniques with added weights, which I can also definitely recommend you do. If I can only convince you to do one single thing we talked about in this entire video, it would be working on your mobility. You don't have to do stretching exercises if you don't want to. You can go for more advanced mobility patterns as well, and even stuff like skin the cat, which is also pretty advanced calisthenics work, yet adds the necessary mobility work that we will require, especially as we age and our mobility decreases with every single year. And when it comes to mobility, we have dozens upon dozens of videos, from follow-alongs to movement pattern breakdowns to classic stretching exercises, and everything you pretty much need to advance your flexibility and mobility to the highest degree. Now, I saved this one for last, even though it is one of the most prevalent problems, and I'm pretty sure most of you will agree with me, and that is neglecting your lower body strength and general leg exercises. If I had $1 for every calisthenics athlete I know that can't do a dragon squat, a pistol squat, or general leg exercises that don't actually require that much strength and that much control, I would be a millionaire by now. Adding leg dominant strength exercises, even if you're only doing classic squats, is already better than not doing any at all. Not only does that lead us back to our mobility problem, you cannot work on your hip, knee and ankle mobility without adding strength dominant leg exercises, but you're also neglecting some of the largest muscle groups in your entire body, and that will come back to bite you in the ass if you do not work on it as early as you can. And this is not about building massive legs. This is more about control and overall quality of life and longevity. Weak legs lead to less cardio. Less cardio leads to less movement, and less movement leads to all kinds of health ailments that come as we age. And you might be young now and you might not notice it now, but you definitely will as you progress in age. And you don't want to be one of the people who notice at 60 years old that they haven't done a single squat in their entire life and now can barely walk a full kilometer without being out of breath, or having the necessary strength in your quads and around your hips to even get up from the floor. I've talked about one of the most important things to ever learn when it comes to fitness is being able to get up from the floor without the use of your hands and from any position you can imagine. That goes for laying down on the ground as well as classic sitting positions like the Turkish seat, for instance. So work on your legs. Add classic ass to grass squats. Add classic pistol squats. Add some of the more advanced variations like dragon squats, and definitely add more explosivity like box jumps, so you can work on your type 2 muscle fibers and on fast movements. Without exaggeration, these might come back to save your life. And once again, we have a full free workout here you can check out and go through the motions and add some of these exercises to your repertoire. If I had done all of these things earlier, I would have progressed so much faster and I would have gotten around so much headache and so many problems. But that's the thing, we learn through experience, and some people, like myself, only learn from personal experience, because most of this stuff I already knew, but I pushed it to the back of my head because there were more important things, like having a bigger biceps, having a more defined triceps, and building a massive back. When it turns out all of this could have been secondary, and even more so, working on the things we talked about today would have gotten me there much faster. So please, don't be like me, someone who learns from their own mistakes, but check out the mistakes of other people so you can avoid the hassle that they go through. And on that note, thank you for watching, thank you for staying until the end of the video. And if you like the video and subscribe, and please guys, check out other videos on this channel like the ones we mentioned today, or whatever you're interested in, because we literally have new videos every single day, which means that I will see you tomorrow. Captain Cairo, peace out.